session number. This is session number 4 of our district learning assembly. And this evening, we will cover grants qualification.
I'm just making something.
So, Kalpana, would you please mute everyone? We will mute everyone.
Jeannie, you're muted.
Wow, I was telling everybody. Oh, okay. Well, let's get started. This session is being recorded. This is session number 4 of our district learning assembly. We're going to cover grants qualification for this evening. Since attendance is mandatory for this session, we are asking everyone to put your club name, last name, and then first name as your display name. So that way we can track who's here and from which club. Also, since attendance is mandatory, we ask all of you to have your video on. I think we do have everyone. Hopefully, almost everyone have their video on. And thank you for that. And of course, we ask that you be actively engaged throughout the session. Let's see. Yeah, let's make some introduction first. First of all, Kalpana Patel. She's the one who's been sending everyone messages about the district learning assembly. She's our incoming district learning chair. And also we have Barry here to make sure that, that we are running smoothly technically. And also Barry and Kalpana will be putting all the materials for all these sessions that we've been running on our district website. So for your reference later, and you can go check that out. So now we're going to get started. First of all, I want to introduce our district foundation chair, Andy Calamaris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending.
So, and Andy, take it away.
Thank you, Jeannie. And again, thank you, everyone, for attending the mandatory training. We will take questions during the presentation, which is a little bit different, but I'll ask Kalpana to take the questions in chat, and if she accumulates a few, she can just interrupt us at that point. We found it to be more effective last year when we did this than waiting to the end. We will move it along, however, so if we get too many questions, we'll only take a few for each topic. We're going to give you details all about the district grants and the global grants. More specific details about district grants requirements, because they have many details to go over. Global grants are certainly larger and harder to do, but they're well outlined by Rotary, and if you've never done one, you're going to have to walk through it with us in any case. But we will go through some of the items. Let's see. And at this point, I think we'll just get going because we have a lot to cover. So I'd like to introduce Pamela Singh, who is our district grants chair, who's done a stellar job for the last few years in this capacity. And she just loves giving presentations, right, Pam?
Yes, not one of my best things, but we'll do it. All right, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Andy, and good evening, everybody. As Andy said, my name is Pamela Singh, and I'm the district grants chair. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the district grants program. Just a small introduction that our district encourages clubs to, to do projects that benefit the community And fortunately, Rotary supports the project by paying half the expenses for our projects. So I think it's a win-win situation, and I think all clubs should take advantage of it and apply for a grant and do things for their community and their neighborhood. So that is my 2 cents. Before going forward, as Andy said, I will take questions during the presentation. You can either use the hand icon and Kalpana can let me know who the person is, and I will gladly answer any questions or clarifications you may have to the best of my ability. Oh, can we have the PowerPoint, please?
I can't hear anybody.
No, we haven't started. Kalpana, next page, please. I'm not sure, am I supposed to tell you? I'm not sure.
It'd be nice
You
if
have a question? Joe Tabb from Clinton Sunrise. You have the hand icon up, so I was just wondering. Okay, let's start with district grants and objectives. What kind of projects are eligible for a district grant? The policy is flexible with Rotary International and our district. Almost any project that meets the needs of the community is eligible. RI and the district are looking for hands-on participation, which is extremely important by the club members. And they also encourage inviting non-members to come and help in the projects, as well as family participation if necessary. The district grants funds are used for a variety of club projects and activities, and including them could be disaster recovery efforts, scholarships, community outreach, and dictionaries for school for third grade students. Kalpana, next slide, please.
We're on the next slide, Pamela.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who all are available? Who all can apply for a district grant? Every club is eligible. And this is something new this year. Clubs can participate in up to 2 grants. But out of the 2 grants, 1 must be with a collaborating district partner. Now, who is a collaborating district partner? A collaborating district partner could be a district club, could be district clubs. You can have more than 1 club, or you can also use a Rotaract club. Rotaract clubs in their own right are eligible to apply for district grants as well. Projects are generally done locally. Sending a check to another organization is not eligible. And club members should participate hands-on. Otherwise, if a check is given to another organization and no participation by the club members is involved, the district grant will not be reimbursed. Gift cards are not allowed. Clubs may repeat the same project every year, and this is quite popular because dictionary projects, food bank support, scholarships, quite a few clubs use provide dictionaries support and scholarships every year. And very importantly, grants cannot benefit a member or their relatives. So these are the policy guidelines. For applications, you have to go to the grants module, which is available on Club Runner in the grants module which is on our website. And the website, you can see that the link is New Jersey, https newjerseyrotary.org. The project and the district treasurer will reimburse the clubs when the grant is completed, and the reimbursements will be given to a club once the initial and full application is approved by RI and the district. And once the project is complete, the final report with all receipts, invoices, and payment vouchers should be recorded in the grants module. It will then be approved by the district grants committee. Did I see some questions?
Yes, there is a question from Carolyn King from Walkill Valley. Is it new that we can do the same project in the next year?
Well, that can change every year. And yes, last year we had said that dictionary projects cannot be repeated, but talking to RI, they say the reason dictionary projects can be repeated, that was for last year, is every year the beneficiaries are new. The third grade changes every year, so the students are not the same. So dictionaries are acceptable. I had been to one of the Zoom meeting given by Steve Sundstrom, who is our RI grants representative, and he made that clear in that. But last year we did not follow it, but this year we can. So you can certainly, if you want to do dictionaries again, you can. Food bank support, which is very common, and scholarships. You're giving scholarships to different students, so that is also possible.
Okay, and
And
there's a
so
question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
There's a question on chat about whether these slides will be made available afterwards. And yes, as Jeannie has said earlier, these slides will be placed on our district website under member information on the district learning assembly tab.
Kalpana, these slides have already been placed on the district website, so they're there already.
You're the best. Thank you, Barry.
Yes, thank you, Barry. We appreciate that. And,
And
any
Pamela,
more questions?
There,
Or can I
yes,
continue?
there are some more questions.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's-
from the Plainfield Club, Michael Townley asks, can we partner with an Interact Club if it is registered with RI?
Can we partner with, I didn't hear that.
Interact Club.
No, it's either Rotaract, a district club, or district clubs. These are the three, groups that we can partner with.
Okay.
You can always use Interact clubs cannot apply for a grant. They just can support us, and you can use them to work on a project with you, but that's about it. We as a club also have used Interact students who we support to come and help us with some fundraising or a project that we're working on. But, I'm not, well, the answer could be yes, you can use them, but nobody gets any credit for that. It'll just be the one, if your club does a single grant, you can use the Interact Club there, or if you're doing with other clubs, you can use the Interact Club there as well.
Thank you, Pamela. The next question is from Madison Club. Lois Butt wants to know, there was a statement made, I believe, of must collaborate with a district partner. Question is this new?
It is new, as I said. This is the first year that a club can apply up to 2 grants. Previously, it was 1 grant per club. But the second, if a club is planning to do 2 grants this year, the second district grant has to be done with a collaborative partner, which is another district club or clubs or the Rotaract Club. Any more questions?
There are no more questions on chat. Can I move to the next slide?
And I-
Hackettstown, Robin has her hand up.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you. I have a question. Last year, we were approved for a grant, and then we were told later that the amount that we would receive would be much less. Is that a normal occurrence? Just for our budgeting purposes, what can we expect this year?
Robin, yes, and I will be talking about that in future slides over here. It
Okay,
all
thank you.
depends on how much DDF money the district receives from Rotary International and how many clubs apply for a grant. And then based on that, if we have enough money to spread around, everybody will get what they ask for. Like this year, we had to, cut down. We had said that the maximum amount was 2,500, was 5,000, where a club gives 2,500 and you'd get 2,500 from the from the district grant, and we had to cut that 2,500 to 1,700. So it's all dependent. Right now, we don't know how much money we are going to get this year for the district grants for next year. We still have time. We still have till, July 1st. And I will be talking about this. Well, this page has come up over here, but I don't want to, I have to finish the policy guidelines. I haven't finished that. So we need to go back, Kalpana. I'm sorry.
okay.
Thank you.
One more. No, that's fine. No, the next one, the applications and reimbursement. So once one more, yeah, that's where we are. So once the final report is uploaded to the district grant module and it's approved by the district grants committee, then the clubs can be reimbursed. So there's a whole process that we have to go through for the reimbursement. Everything has to be corrected. And as we go on, I will share with you what do we have for the final report and what needs to be part of it. All right, can we move on? Robin, here we are. This is where I will going to discuss it. District grant amounts will be distributed to participating clubs. The minimum this year is $1,000 and the maximum is $7,000. Now, this is new this year. Last year, it was $5,000. This year, it's $7,000. So it's gone up $2,000. But this district still does not know how much DDF we will receive next year. The actual amount for the district grant, even though we say it's 7,000, may vary based on the availability of the funds and the number of clubs that will apply. So so we will find out at the end of July when all the initial and full applications are submitted as to how many clubs have been approved by the district and Rotary International. And then we will decide if the maximum will be 7,000 or we might have to cut it. The maximum is what we adjusted this year. From 2,500, we made it 1,700.
So it seems to me that you're offering more grants for a higher dollar amount unless we get significantly more funding, then the math doesn't work.
You're right, yes. But we do offer it because, it depends on how many clubs apply. And it's all based on that and how much we receive. It depends, that's why we always encourage all the clubs to give towards, the annual fund because, so that the money comes back to us in 3 years. And that's what DDF is all about. It's our own money coming back for the clubs to use. So the more we give, the more we'll get and the more money we'll have.
When do we find out how much DDF we get?
Now, that is a question for Jeannie. I don't know when, we should be knowing pretty soon, I think, at least by the end of May or sometime in June, no later than that.
There are two
Um,
parts.
Yeah,
There are
I
two
think that,
parts.
yeah,
Okay, Pamela, if I can answer that. Our DDF consists of two parts. One is the money that Pamela just talked about, the money we donated 3 years ago coming back to support us as grants. That portion, we already know how much we're getting for our total, from our total contribution 3 years ago. That's approximately $127,000. However, the endowment portion that's going to come back to the district is something that is still unknown. That's something that we're going to learn a few months from now. So we suspect it's probably going to be very similar, if it's similar to prior years, though. So we probably can add another 15, 16,000 on top of that. And 50% of that total amount, it's what we can use for district grants. So we kind of can do the math. So just like Pamela said, we will find out the total amount that we can allocate for district grants later, a few months from now. And it all depends on the number of applicants and the amount that each applicant will be asking for.
Thanks, Jeannie. We have two questions on chat.
yes, go ahead.
Heidi Kramer from Piscataway. By district grant, do you mean the total project cost?
Can you just bring it up in chat? I didn't follow exactly what the question is, please.
Yeah. So it's here on if you go into your chat window, it's you could see it there. I've highlighted it. It's by district grant or DG. Do you mean the total project cost? I think the question, Pamela, is about what's on the slide referenced as minimum DG and maximum DG.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the minimum that you can, the minimum that you'll get is $1,000. You can apply for $1,000, out of which 500 you'll get from, the club is responsible for, and 500 you'll get from the district grant. Just like this year, the distribution is 1-to-1. So 50% is the club's responsibility and 50% you'll get from the district grant. So, but anything between $1,000 and $7,000 will also be approved. If you put in a request for $1,500 or $750, that will be approved. If RI says it's a project we can do, and and you'll also be reimbursed for it. So let's go to the next page.
One more question before we go.
Sorry.
Nutley Rotary Ben Costa, what are the guidelines around using a district grant as a scholarship?
Now, exactly what guidelines are you looking for? I'm not sure. The only thing is that by March 15th, all the high school students know which college they are going to attend. And so by then, you should be able to have selected your scholarship recipient. So when April 15th, this year, I've increased the date. I've made it a little later till April 30th. So by April 30th, you should know who the recipients are going to be. So on April 30th, when you submit your final report under documents, you will give a photograph of the checks, however many scholarships that you're planning to give out to the students. And you can put the student's name, and you don't have to date it. You can put the student's name and upload it to the documents section of the the final report, and then that check comes from your foundation account. It'll sit there till June. When the student graduates, then you can give those, you can date it, and give the scholarship checks to them. That's how we've been doing it. And RI has approved that. I went back to them again this year because some of the high schools have been late in giving, in the students giving their, giving their requests in for scholarships because there was some problem with the FAFSA website, the government website that gives students, scholarship money. So that's why it was delayed. But they said it was okay. We can wait till, even though April 30th is the date you want the final report in, that is set up by you, but we can wait a little longer because until we have until September to give our final report, not what the different clubs gives us. Once you give it to us, we gather all the information and all the numbers and put them into a separate form for them, and then they look at it. So we have some time. So if you haven't yet selected your scholarship recipients, you still have about a month and a half to do it, and then keep the checks in your foundation account. And then in June, when the graduation takes place, you should know by then who's getting those scholarships. Is that what you were asking? Did I answer the right thing?
Kind of. I'm more interested in, so we give a 4-year scholarship out. So
Yes.
every year we will give out 4 checks to 4 college students,
Mhm.
in each of their 4 years,
Yeah.
freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. All right. So the checks we're giving out, we normally give them out sometime over the summer. The checks we give out over the summer, they would be for like this summer, they would be for 2024's grant, or would that still be 2023 grant?
No, it's 2023 grant. 2023, 2024. 2024, 2025 will happen next June.
No, I'm talking about this June. So the
This
application.
June, it will be 2023, 2024.
All right, so the money we're going to be receiving, like in a few weeks that you're sending out, that was 22, 23.
No, that was 2023, 2024.
Okay,
All right?
so the ones we fill out this June is 24, 25.
The ones you fill out in July for 2024, 2025, asking for scholarships, you will use those next year.
So they're the ones we give out next year.
Next year, not this year. This year,
Right.
you give out the scholarships you requested last July.
Got it. Okay,
Okay?
got it.
Okay. So now let's continue here. This is just an example, where clubs are responsible for 50% of the total cost of the project, and however much the district grant is, the club is responsible for 50%, and then the district grant, you'll get 50%. Now, this year, something new is that any district grant over $1,000 requires a public image plan for the project. What do I mean by that? A public image plan is some way of advertising, saying that, you're giving out scholarships. On your website, you can put out that, your club gave 2 scholarships to the high school students and give their name. You can put them if they, you can put them on, accounts on social media. If you make flyers or you're sending pamphlets out, mailing them out, anything, when you submit your final report, some mention has to be made as to what public image plan your club did this year about the projects, and only then you will be reimbursed.
Pamela, there is a question on chat from Pat Yacarino from Vernon. Individual club grant requests given the same weight as collaborative grants.
Say that again? Sorry, I don't know why I'm not hearing you.
Oh, let
Or
me,
are individual club grant requests given the same weight as school? Yes,
Elaborate.
yes, yes, there's no difference. It's just that, you can apply for 2 grants and it'll be the same. I mean, one grant can be $1,000, the other grant can be $5,000. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It will be treated as a grant request, even though it's coming from the same club. It'll be a lot of, this is the first time we are having 2 clubs applying for grants, but our system handles that quite well. So we should not have any problems. All right, so now this is how how you apply for a district grant. This is the process. And the system, it is a 3-step process. The first step is the initial and full application is submitted on the grants module, and it is reviewed by me and the district grants committee. I first review it, then they do. And if it's approved, we also request a budget with it, so we know how much your club is requesting. Once that is complete, in July or early August, the full application is sent to RI for their approval. There might be some district grants that might need a little tweaking, which during that, however long it takes them, sometimes RI can take up to a week to come back with a response. Sometimes they can take up to 6 weeks. This year, they gave us a response in September. So it depends on their workload and what other things they are doing. But if any of the district grants need tweaking, those will have to be done by the clubs and then resubmitted to RI for their approval. Once the approval is received, the clubs are notified and they can begin their project. Now, one thing we have to be very, clear about, the RI enforces that we cannot, and they are very, and they always look at these things. They ask me that, have you checked the dates? They are very careful with the dates. All the dates for the receipts, for the invoices, the payment vouchers have to be after the date the application was approved by RI. We cannot have receipts before that. And if there are receipts before that, they will not approve it, and we will not be, the clubs will not be able to get reimbursed. And so once they start their projects, they complete it, then the final report has to be submitted. Now, there are 3 sections within a final report that have to be filled up. One is there are 5 questions in which you have to give a summary of about your project and how it has impacted the community or whoever the project was for. And so those questions have to be answered, who the beneficiaries were. Then the second section is the financial report, where in the expenses, you list all your expenses, and the other section is income, where there'll be a line with how much you're getting from district grant and how much your club has spent. And the amount of your income has to match the amount of your expenses. So if your club spent $500 and you only need $200 for what you get from district grants, okay, that's what you'll have to put on your income line. That our club only spent $200, even though they may have spent $500, because the income has to match the expenses. And the third portion is the documents section, where all the receipts, the invoices, the payment vouchers and any documents like, thank you notes or photos can be uploaded. This year, what I have done is within the module under district grants, there's a section called grants documents. There I've uploaded instructions on how to do the initial and full application and the final report. I have received many questions this year about the final reports where people were very confused. And I think this will help you. And I would ask you all to use them as a reference when you're doing your initial application, your full application, and your final report. It'll be very, very helpful because all the steps are lined up over there.
Right.
Do you have any questions? And another thing I wanted to say, you can finish your project in a month or two. You don't have to wait till April 30th. That's the day the final report is going to be due during the next session. You can give, you can submit your final report in October if your project is over. You don't have to wait till April 30th. The only thing is you can write me a little note to say that I have finished my project and have submitted my final report, because I normally start looking for the final reports at the beginning of the year.
Thanks, Pamela. We have a few questions from Clinton Sunrise Rotary. Mary Beth is asking, where is this helpful document?
Where is the document is, where you go for your, you go on the district website, you sign in, you go to the member section, then you go to grants, and then you go to my club grants. On that menu line, the last thing on that menu line says grants documents. Click on that, and that's where you'll find this PowerPoint. You'll find the instructions. You'll find the requirements. We will upload them. Just give us a few days. Everything, I think everything is up, but I didn't get a chance to check it today. So but I think Kalpana has said to me that, and Barry has said, and thank you to both of them, that those things, all those things have been uploaded there.
Yeah.
So, but I would really encourage everybody to look at those two documents. They will be very, very helpful.
And there's a similar question from Denver Rotary, Mary Reddish. Where exactly are the steps posted? Mary, does that answer your question?
What is the question?
Where exactly are the steps posted?
In the documents. In the documents, you read the documents, there are bullet points, and you follow the bullet points in order, and you should be fine with it. And if you have a problem, you can always give me a call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Madison Lois Bart, what is the deadline for the application?
For this year, it was April 15. Next, and I'm going to come to the important dates. Can I have the next? Okay. On May 22nd, the grants module is open for new applications. It's a Wednesday. I decided, since we are having this session on a Wednesday, we'll open it on a Wednesday. July 30th, midnight, hard deadline for the initial and full application. I've increased it by 2 weeks. This year it was July 15th. It just seems that we always end up, the hard deadline is always July 30th. So I asked Jeannie and we changed it to July 30th. After July 30th, the grants are submitted to Rotary International for approval. August/September, I'm not sure when we'll get back their response that they have approved the grants or some adjustments are necessary. Until all the adjustments are made, then the approval is given. And after we receive RI's approval, the clubs can begin their project. But you must save all your receipts, photos, and documents at least receipts and documents, photos and thank you notes and all, and photographs are not necessary. And the receipts have to match what are in your expenses. And I would be kindly ask everybody if they upload their receipts, but if you can get me a PDF in which you just list the final amount of each receipt, that will really be helpful. Some clubs did it this year and it helped me, and it saved me lots of hours of putting that together and then seeing if it matches the expenses. Because if we get audited, these are the things that they look at. So I'm very careful that our receipts match our expenses and, things like that. So, and can we have the next one? Next,
Robin Jensen has her hand raised.
okay.
Just on the receipts, when we did our project last year, we had part of the project was paid for by someone else. We did a project for the ARC and they chipped in and paid for a portion. Do we need proof of their payment or just our own?
If you reimburse, if somebody from your club pays for something, you can reimburse them from your, from using your club's checks, but both the checks have to be uploaded in documents so that RI knows that somebody paid for it, but the club reimbursed them.
Okay, in this case, we didn't reimburse them. They paid a portion of the cost. So the cost was higher than what the club paid.
It has to match. The other thing you can do is the amount that the gentleman put in the, gave the check for, he can give it to the club and then the club can write the check out. But I checked that with RI because there was another club this year which had a similar problem. And this was the response I got from RI, that we will have to see that check and the check by which they were, reimbursed. Or because this gentleman wanted to donate that money to the club. So RI did not accept that. They said they should just give a check to the club in their name, and then the club can write the check out.
Okay.
So donations can come directly to the club, but cannot be part of the district grant payment.
Okay.
Got it? And if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. I can explain it even further to you.
If there's a problem with the submission, you'll let us know anyway, right? That you need more information?
Sure, I will. Yes, I will. I will. And
I don't want to make your job harder, but
no.
That's
that's all right. As long as what I ask you to do, then you complete that. And I thank you all for that, because everybody follows what I ask them for. So that really helps. Thank you. All right. So can we have so here now, April 30th, that's when the final report has to be recorded in the grants module. This year I had said April 15th, but next year I decided, because it takes just as long or even a little longer, by the time all the changes are made and everything that I need. And one thing, when you are in the final report, many clubs were, do not press the save button. So after writing all that information and entering it, if you don't press the save button, as soon as you come out of the grants module, you've lost everything. So, and it happened to one of the clubs. It took them about 3 times when I said, did you press on this? And the person said, I'm not sure if I did or if I didn't. So, you know, that I've noticed that takes a long time. There are many district grant go back and forth just because the save button was not clicked on. Yeah? And it just it gets people very concerned and agitated. So just an FYI. And if the projects are not completed and the final report must be recorded, if that's not done by April 30th, then the club loses the grant and the unused funds will be returned to our RI. And I'm not, you know, that's what we normally do. And here I've written instructions for the district grant application and final report are available in the district grant module in Club Runner. And this is where you go. It says grant documents. So it's under newjerseyrotary.org and under grant documents. And it's very easy, you know, to read them. It's step-by-step bullet points. And if you follow them, you know, you will not have a problem at all. All right, now oh, 1 second, I've got to. Now, all clubs have to qualify to apply for a district grant. There are some things that are required and must be followed. Clubs must appoint a foundation chair. This grants qualification seminar. Training is required. We have a session today, which is May 2nd, and there's a makeup on May 14th. So whoever could not make it today, if you could make it on the 14th, then you will be eligible to apply for a district grant this year. And 2 members from the club must attend. The club officer should be your club foundation chair-elect, your president-elect, or if they cannot attend, then a club member who's designated by the president-elect. But there should be 2 members from each club. Club must have paid their RI and Area 60, District 7475 dues. And this is a little different this year, next year. This year, clubs had to contribute to the Rotary Foundation, depending on how many members were in your club. You know, if there were 25 or less, you paid 25, and if there were 26 or more, $50 was required. But the next year, across the board, each member will contribute $25. So that is a requirement, and that's something new. And president-elects must have attended PETS or meet district PETS makeup requirements. And by July 15th, the clubs must have set their foundation giving goals, Polio Plus, and annual giving. So this is in order to qualify to receive a district grant, you know, all these bullet points should be met. Okay, this is only recommendation. It's not required, but it's always good because it's a lot of information that each club should have at least 2 foundation club programs during the year. One on polio and other on any foundation topic. And the foundation chair can make the presentation, or you can always invite a committee chair to come to your club and talk on any subject you'd like them to. And I think a list of the committee chairs is on the district website. I'm sorry, Barry, I wrote will be posted, but I think it's already there. So, you know, you can always select somebody from there, but this is only a recommendation. All right. And now reimbursement requirements. Again, the club must be current with district RI dues. Grants must be completed and the final report must be recorded in grant module with a detailed explanation of the project and the beneficiaries of what the project has accomplished. That is what you describe in the 5 questions in the final report. Then the financial financial report has to be updated, all the expenses listed, the income listed, and as I said, the income has to match your expenses. Once all that is uploaded to the grants module and it is reviewed by the grants committee, then the clubs will be reimbursed. And as if a club finishes a project earlier in the year, they don't have to wait till April 30th, to submit their final report. They can do it. And if it's earlier in the year, it takes them 1 or 2 months to do it, just send me an email and I will gladly start looking at it and have them reimbursed. Can tell us.
Okay, there is a question from the Morristown Merle Johnson. Can you tell us the requirements for the club goals again to be qualified to apply for a grant?
I can answer that.
Yeah, thank you,
think-
Jeannie.
Yeah, I think, Merle, what you were talking about is specifically what about the goals, the 2 goals that Pamela just talked about, annual giving and polio. That will be covered on May 6th when we all get together in person. We're going to specifically talk about, we actually have 3 goals which we require each club to put into RI, and we will discuss those 3 items there on May 6th. Now, Kalpana, can you go back 3 slides? There's something, a clarification that I will need to make. Okay, thank you. The slide says each club member contributes 25, that's average of $25. Not that each member has to, it's an average of $25. We cannot specifically ask each club member to give to the Rotary Foundation. So that number, that $25, again, it's an average contribution.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you.
I caught that. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So I've completed my PowerPoint presentation, and here, if you have any questions or help, please contact me. My number, my home number and my cell phone number is here, or past District Governor Andy Calamares, who's our foundation chair. He's excellent. He knows everything about district grants, about global grants. Just give him a call and he'll be there to help you anytime. So either of us you can contact, and either of us will be very happy to help any of you. All right.
Thank you,
And now
Pamela.
I'm going to turn it over to Andy Calamares. He's going to talk about global grants. Andy, yes.
Before Andy comes on, I would like to say 2 more things about the district grant. One of the reasons Pamela talked about, we can apply for a second grant with a district partner. The reason behind that is we are really encouraging clubs to work together, to collaborate. That's why here's an opportunity for them to do real good amongst their communities together. And the second thing regarding the, also another new item, it's the public image plan. For those of you who attended the session Tuesday night, we talk a lot about telling our story. For example, this year, there were 55 district grants. Now, we definitely do not want to keep all those 55 or 51 grants. We don't want to keep those stories private, right? We want our communities to know the good that we're doing all around the district. So that's basically the reason behind behind why we're putting that as a requirement. We want everyone to know about our stories. So thank you.
Cindy Allen has a question regarding the club donation. Cindy? You are on mute, Cindy?
I got it. So I'm still a little confused here about this $25 and $50 requirement for the club to donate. So how do we facilitate that? And what is what was the breakdown based on whether it's 25 or 50 average?
Yeah, I said that was this year. And for next year, it's as I was incorrect in saying $25 per member. It is up to $25. So you can, people can give $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever they would like, but up to $25. Right, Jeannie? Or you?
Okay, for last year, let's forget about last year of the amount.
Yeah, right, that's
So
true.
for the application that you're gonna submit in July of this year, one of the requirement is for your club members to contribute an average of $25. That's the requirement.
So if one member gave $1,000, that would cover 40 people.
Yes, you are correct.
And my
But
question is,
that's a very easy requirement to meet.
so how do we do that donation? I mean, what's the protocol for making sure we donate an average of $25 a person?
There are reports that each president can look at. And if anybody have any question about that, we can certainly look at your average donation.
When do they have to be in by?
Let's see. Let me see exactly what we said in the requirement. The requirement says that that amount, it's already there. We can actually generate reports. That requirement, exactly what the requirement says is must have contributed a minimum average of $25 per member to the Rotary Foundation during the year 2023 to 2024.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's June to June?
It
Yeah.
should be till the end of June.
Yes. Yes.
Before July 1st, yes.
You can run the report and you can already tell whether or not that you've donated 25
Right.
per person.
The report for the dues and that is by mid-July, right? By July 15th, we would be able to run that report.
By June 30th, yeah, by July 15, all the numbers are in, so you still have plenty of time.
And our members, I mean, Barbara gives.
Was there a question? I'm sorry.
So I just wanted, so does that 25 average include the club contribution, or does that exclude the club contribution?
Includes
Includes
All
donations.
contributions.
all
Yep.
kind.
Okay, that is not clear in anything you've said tonight. And it's probably the thing that everyone has on their mind.
I will make the change on the PowerPoint. Put that down. Though I've said 2023, 2024 for the $25. Now I'll say an average of $25.
Yeah.
It does
Well,
say, it does say
but-
it's this year. It
But the
does
most
say it's this
important part there is that it includes what the club contributes also.
As
I
well.
will make that change tonight. And
Mhm.
that is
I
my
have-
answer.
The
I have a
RI
question.
report, the RI Foundation report we run includes that, the club portion for average. So,
Okay, Jeannie, I have a question about the scholarships when you're asking for us to partner with another Rotary Club. Can we partner with, let's say we're Club A and we partner with Club B, and Club B applies for a grant saying they're partnering with us. Can you do that?
Well, let's
Yeah.
take that as a scenario, right? So Club A can apply on your own for one grant. You can
Right, right.
partner with Club B for the
Mhm.
second one.
Okay,
Club B can partner with, submit one themselves.
right,
And then if they were to submit another grant with Club A, I would think that's eligible because we did not say, see, it's per club, right? And
Per
also
club.
another scenario that we can use is Club A can partner with B and C, and that would be eligible. And Club B can partner with Club A and Club D. That will be another grant that Club B can submit as a second grant.
Here's the next question. What if we both, Club A and Club B, want the grants to go to the same project that's in our local community?
If that's the same project, that would not,
They would not.
I do not think that I will allow two grants for the same purpose. Is that
Okay.
correct, Pamela?
Yes, that's absolutely right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Is it my turn?
Yes,
You can share, Randy.
Can we bring the slides back up?
Oh, you want to
I'd
start?
like to correct the statement. I don't know everything about district grants, but I generally know where to find the answers. And many of you have the ability to find those answers too. You just have to look for them. But I'm happy to help. You've got my phone, you've got my email, and you know, I try to teach everything that comes along like that is a learning experience for you and for me if it's something I don't know the answer to. So I need the slides, please.
Yes, yeah. Here they are.
Now, somebody sent me a chat and said, do I want to advance them myself? How do I do that?
you don't unless you're sharing your screen.
You would
That's what I
need to
thought.
share your screen with the slides.
Well, I thought you sent me the chat, so let's just move ahead, and if Kalpana, if you'll just advance the slide, please.
Sure.
Okay, my part of this is the global grants, which is, you know, significantly different program. Not many clubs actually go for global grants, although we would encourage you to. Every year, half of the district DDF funds that come to the district are available for global grants. RI now says that if you don't spend the money in 5 years, you can't accumulate it. You have to give it back. It has to go. Well, you can choose where it can go, but it will go back into one of the other foundation funds, endowments, and so forth. So we really want to spend that money, and there's an opportunity for all of the clubs to do some really good things all over the world. And with that, I'll get into the details. Now, two clubs involved. One's called the Host Club, and the other one's called the International Partner. It's a little difficult for us here in the United States when we're dealing with, let's say, another club in Japan, and we want to think of ourselves as the host club. But if the club in Japan initiates the grant, we are the international partner, and the host club will be the club in Japan. The reverse would be true if you did a project in your town and partnered with that club in Japan. You would be the host and they would be the international partner. The work is really all done. Next slide, please. The work is really all done by the host club. You have to arrange for the community assessment, which is very important, and that means, does the community need this particular project? will the money be well spent and benefit the community? You have to manage the implementation of the grant. All the equipment has to be bought. You have to train the people. You have to work on the sustainability of the project, and you have to submit reports to the Rotary Foundation. This is for the host club now. The host club is required to contribute a minimum of 15% of the grant. And are like the grant to be host driven. In other words, if you're dealing with a grant, again, in Japan, or let's say Uganda, they want that club to be doing all of the things a host club should be doing, and not the host club here, the club rather, the international partner in the United States, be doing all that work for them. Their requirement is really that they're the hands-on part of the grant. Next slide, please. Now, this is something that we would really ask you and appreciate you to do. If you are contemplating doing a grant as a host, or if you're working on a grant with a host club in another country, you should all have your information ready before you start the grant application. And the really important part of that when you start a global grant is the community assessment. That's the very first thing when RI looks at your draft, they're going to ask for. And all of these other details should be in that application. The objective of the project, and global grants have to align with the 7 areas of focus. It has to meet the requirements of one of those areas of focus. Who will be the partners on the project? Now, there can be other districts involved in one particular project anywhere in the world. There can be DDF funds coming from these other districts. It can be a partnership of many districts around the world to get something done. We did something this year with the Ukraine where we were asked to contribute DDF, supply mobile clinics in the Ukraine, and there's actually a program up on the website that you can look at and you can see how well that went. Who will be the beneficiaries of the global grant? Very important. You're going to spend a lot of money, you're doing something, you want to do good. Well, who are you going to do the good for? You have to be able to monitor that success. And by monitoring, you need to be able to do a numerical monitoring of some form. And the sources of funds, where's that going to come from? It has to come from the host, 15%, the balance from anywhere else, and the matches will be, the matches will come from, part of the match will come from DDF funds, which I'll talk about in the next slide. And has, not yet, and has the host club done any other global projects? And why is that important? Well, if they haven't, and you have, and you'll know more about it, you're going to have to be ready to help them move forward, because it's the first time on a global grant takes time. It's a great learning experience. It's an important learning experience, but there's a lot of details and things that have to be covered before RI will agree to fund the global grant. Next slide, please. The District Foundation Committee, when there's a global grant that comes to us with a DDF request, will confirm to you that the DDF amount that you're requesting is available. Until you get that confirmation, don't move forward. And if you're working on a draft and you want DDF funds, please get to us as early as possible. The DDF funds are first come, first serve. And although we are anticipating having a pretty good fund this coming year, you just don't know where it's going to go and how fast it'll be spent. So if you're contemplating a grant, even before you're in a draft, if you just want to run it by us, we think the money would be available. That's a smart thing to do. We are not limiting the amount of DDF right now. It would be a question of the project, how worthy we think it is, and how much money we really have available. In the past, we've used $10,000 as a guideline. We will exceed it if we think it's worthwhile. And the project has a high level of probability. But that has to be a discussion between those who are looking to do the grant and the grants committee. The global grant application is available on the website. The reporting for a global grant application or global grant is strenuous and gets reviewed meticulously by Rotary Foundation. You have to file a report within 2 months of the project completion and within 12 months after receiving the grant payment. And if those reports are not filed, the district starts to hear about it and we'll be chasing you to make sure that the reports do get filed on time. If you're the host club, the reports are really the host club's responsibility, but we're expected to make sure that those reports get done as well if we're the international partner. There'll be a report necessary in many cases every 12 months after the grant is fulfilled. That doesn't happen all the time. It depends on what it is. They want to look at the sustainability, and if no more reports are required, they'll let us know. And RI will not finance buildings, bricks and mortar, or currently solar panels. Not sure I understand why that is, but that's what it is. They will not finance solar panels or bricks and mortar. So if you want to build a building somewhere, it has to be built by other funds. Once it's built, you want to put a computer lab in, money would be available. You want to put furniture, schoolroom equipment and so forth, that would be available, but not to build the building. Next slide, please. These are the 3 people that will decide. This is not the whole committee, but this is the grants committee, and this who would decide with respect to global grants and the overall district grant when it's completed and the worthiness of the projects in the grant. Next slide, please. As I said before, global grants on a first come, first served basis. Apply early in the year. There have been times when the World Fund, who matches the DDF, they match the DDF contribution 80%, they've run out of money. And I remember the first year that I was a district foundation chair, around October, there was no more money available. So if you're going to do a global grant, do it early and move it along quickly. The global grant itself, when I mentioned $10,000, that was our DDF match. The global grant itself has to be a minimum of $30,000 or it will not be considered. And the district will match the club's contribution 1-to-1 from DDF funds. As I said, the maximum DDF will be determined depending on the grant, the capability of the partner, etc. If you want to do a global grant, you can certainly approach other clubs within the district to partner with you on this grant. That's been done before. There was a rather large one done in the Princeton area a number of years ago. It doesn't have to be your club alone. And as I said, Rotary Foundation will match the DDF funds 80%. It will no longer match club or cash contributions. Many of you probably don't even know about that, but it used to be that cash contributions made to a particular, made by an individual or someone other than the club would be matched 100% by the World Fund. That ceased to happen about 2 or 3 years ago because basically they ran out of money for that particular funding. Next.
And there's a question there is a question on the chat from Joe Chap from Clinton Sunrise. Is there a list of host clubs needing a partner? Does it describe the grant need?
That's a very good question. And to answer it, there is a place where that information can be found. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure exactly how that happens, but if you will, I'll write it down, but just in case, if you would send me an email or my cell phone's in this presentation, 400-522-8908. Send me a text and I'll get back to you.
Wait.
Okay, good question. The requirements or qualifications are much the same as a district grant. You have to go to be a participant in the training assembly. The goals have to be entered. The requirements for annual giving and membership and polio are the same. And you must be current with your district and RI dues. There are some additional requirements for global grants. The one that probably will be the most, you will get a lot out of this, so you're not going to want to do it, but it's really easy. It doesn't take a long time, and it is worth doing. In the Learning Center on Rotary.org, there is a grant management seminar. It's 10 courses. We will require that to be completed by by a member of the club who is, by the sponsor, the primary member who's on the grant would have to complete that and provide the certificates of us, or the global grant will not be authorized. There's a memorandum of understanding, which is also in the documents portion of grants, not in the district grant, but there's a memorandum of understanding that has to be signed by the club president and the president-elect and submitted to the RI grants officer along with the global grant application. And if you are involved in another global grant and your reports are overdue, you will not be allowed to apply for an additional global grant. Next slide, please. I covered a lot of things, but there is this guide to global grants, which you can get from Rotary.org/grants, which if you are considering doing a global grant, you should really get that and go through it. It's again, easy to read, a lot of information. And I would almost say you should do that for sure if you're going to do a global grant. Next slide, please. I thought there was one more. Whoops, nope, I put the wrong one in the wrong place. That's it. I really want to emphasize that I'm available to talk about these district and global grants anytime. I'm happy to help. If I can make your job easier, it ends up making my job easier. And the reason you're donating this money to the annual fund and it comes back to the club, and why we're Rotarians, is you want to do good in the world. And the way to do good in the world, or one of the ways to do good in the world, is through these grant opportunities. So I would encourage everybody to certainly do district grants, and certainly to consider doing a global grant or partnering with one, with some other club, and perhaps some other district, perhaps in some other country. So are there any other questions?
I have a question. It has to do with the district grants, but it was a requirement of the RI grants that they don't allow the funds to go towards a building. Does the district grants allow funds to go to a building?
The answer to that question, I have to be a little bit vague. Generally, no, but there are exceptions to that. It depends on the project and the worthiness that our grants officer considers. So if you have something you want to consider for that, you should get it to Pam and we will talk to him and see if he thinks it would apply. There's no yes or no answer to that on a district grant, but generally the answer is no, but there are exceptions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a note, matchinggrants.org is where you can find a list of the grants that are available.
You just saved me some trouble, Tom. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any other questions or information? Jeannie, I guess I'll turn it back to you.
Well, if there are no more questions about this or about anything else, I'm hoping to see many of you on Monday, May 6th, which we will talk about goal setting and risk management, right after we vote, or the president-elects can vote on the manual procedures and also our budget, which is a very important session for all the presidents next year to attend. So we can operate next year and in terms of governance, in terms of finance. So that's an important meeting to attend. And of course, I will send out another reminder to all of you, president-elects. If you are attending in person, please register before Sunday, so I can get a head count to the restaurant. So we'll have some nice dinner there before the vote. If there are no more questions, we thank everyone for attending. If you have a second person who's not here from your club today, please ask them to join us on May 14th so your club can get qualified. If there isn't anything else, thank you very much for attending.